Carbohydrates, Part 1. If you ever wondered what carbohydrates you should be eating, I've always had an issue with grains. All grains: rice, wheat, rye, oats, barley, millet, and other grains. And even the pseudograins, quinoa, amaranth, buckwheat. The pseudograins prepared in the traditional ways of soaking, sprouting, and fermentation. About an hour after eating these seeds, that's basically what grains primarily are, I'd feel dull neck, back, and joint pain, sluggish and agitated, but energetic. But I would later crash. I knew something was wrong. So to fix this, I decided to switch up my source of carbohydrates to fruits. They tasted great, but made me get bad sugar crashes and food cravings. I didn't feel the pump in my muscles and the sustained energy that the grains would provide. So later I discovered that because fruits are a large source of fructose, which is stored in the liver, but not really used efficiently by your muscles. Surprisingly, I also gained fluffy baby fat eating a lot of fruits. So I concluded that I needed starches to fuel me, but not through grains and not through fruits. So where do I go from here? Okay, well, beans and lentils, legumes. How about that family of carbohydrates? So well prepared and soaked for 24 hours, they work decently to fuel me with energy, but threw me off and threw my digestion off, if you know what I mean. In addition, beans and legumes are a source of anti-nutrients like lectins, phytates, phytic acid. These disrupt the gut and can cause issues in people, ranging from skin problems, brain fog, flatulence, basically means farting a lot, and more. They also interfere with mineral absorption of other foods and rob you of minerals. I'll talk about this more in future posts. So I finally gave up on carbohydrates and actually went down the route of carnivore and ketogenic dieting. But that's also another story for another time. So the high-fat diets did not work for me, and I definitely needed the carbs. Honey, fruits, grains, beans, legumes, and even sweet potatoes just did not seem to give me the sustained energy that I needed. It felt like I had tried everything. So I came across really controversial information online, which I'll share later. And I pieced together some information based on my experience. I cut out all of the foods above and replaced them with tubers and squash. So you might ask what tubers and squash are. So this finally worked. It is the answer to why I kept feeling bad using the wrong carbs, or worse, consuming no carbs at all. It is the answer to a highly nutritious, easily absorbed, and utilized energy source. Tubers, roots, and squash are also very high sources of potassium, which is just not found in most foods in the amounts we need outside of potatoes and other roots and greens. You need about 4.3 grams of potassium daily. That's a large amount. And if you do your research on, one of those potassium and other mineral tracking tools, good luck getting that elsewhere. So here are my favorite carbohydrate sources for optimum performance and nutrition. Number 1, squash, all kinds. Number 2, potatoes, well cooked and always peeled. And I'll talk about this more in another time, why potatoes must be peeled. Carrots, and other tubers like peeled beets, plantains, but they've got to be really ripe and nearly blackening. And of course, this is just a small list of tubers. So I encourage you to run a Google search on the many different kinds and start experimenting with these vegetables as a primary source of easily utilized energy. If you're adventurous, for 1 month, eliminate grains, beans, legumes, and sweet fruits. Yeah, I said sweet fruits from your diet. And replace them with only tubers and squashes. If you have any questions, just feel free to comment or message me directly. I'm happy to point you in the right direction.